Whenever people trade options, they look at the underlying stock or the index to make their decisions. That is the wrong way to do it. Most traders, when you go online, if it's TikTok, Instagram, they're going to tell you draw a line at the high and the low of the first 5 minute print. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong trading off of that range. Today, that worked perfectly. If you came and you bought into demand here, you did very well. If you sold above the high of day, you did very well. But that does not paint the entire picture. So what I want to do is I'm going to go on the call side, I'm going to right click copy, and I'm going to paste it, Control V, into my viewing window and hit enter. Now I've already placed all of the lines on the chart, but what I did is I went back to the previous day. I put a line at the previous day low. I put a line at the previous day high. I put a line at the high of the pre-market, the low of the pre-market, and then I also did a high of day. So I labeled a few lines on the underlying call contract or the options chart, which most traders never do. They never look at this. Most people don't even realize that the options contract has a chart. So make sure that you do that. It's essential for you to trade. And what you will notice is the previous liquidity will be tested in the open market the following day. So what do we notice? This high of day here is exactly where the options contract is struggling today. We saw it in the extended hours. We saw a pre-market pivot. It will not hold above $15. Now that's really interesting to me because now if we go on a 1 day, 1 minute, which is yes, very micro, but we're only about 40 minutes into the market. So we really want to understand each tick. Look at how many times it is tested that previous day high where it peaked out yesterday is exactly where it's rejecting or failing to close above today. So maybe that will be significant. Maybe it'll blow through the level in 5 minutes. Maybe it'll use that as the resistance for today. We don't know for sure, but it's a really great gauge and it helps us identify where there could be strengths and weaknesses in the underlying options chart. Now, what I did is I set an alert right above that high wick. So we sort of had this big volume spike here, got a pop, and then it dropped really aggressively. So I want to make a mental note if we're above 1650, that will be bullish. But mainly I want to look at a 5 minute, I want to look at a 10 minute, and I want to look at a 15 minute. And I want to see a green close above that previous day high. That will tell me that bulls are back in control and we're ready to make new highs, or at least we're going to push towards the high of day, which was 2150. Now, all of these wicks on 15 minute look pretty ugly. We had a huge push up, then it got yanked all the way back down, and it closed below once, twice, and 3 times here. Okay, so buyers really need to step in and push it up here if we want to be bullish on the remainder of the day, and we just want to observe the volume there. Okay, so as you could see, right, taps very close, and then now is getting pushed down. Okay, so just be mindful of that. We have some alerts set if we do break through. Set an alert right at 1490. Now let's go back and we'll flip on the puts here. Okay, so we'll look at like a 65.50 put. And I already have all the lines placed there as well. So what do we notice? Right here at the pre-market low, as you could see here, pre-market low, pre-market low, low of day, and then look at how many times it's testing that same range. So right here would be the ideal time to buy. This is buying demand. This is like this quadruple bottom here. Now, I'm not saying for sure you always take a long or you always buy off of this range, but so far it's been holding support really well to this $9.90, $9.30. And if you are bearish on the day, that's so important. You have to have a bias. You have to form an opinion on the overall direction. I can't tell you if it's going up or down today. I'm not trading. I want to remain neutral, but I would take risk $9.90 here. I'd buy right at that pre-market low, and I would risk it going to $9, which would be a 90-cent risk or a 10% cut. Okay, so very simple. If you're buying at 990 here, you're buying into support, buying into that demand there, and then you're cutting at $9, which would be a new low of day, 10% or 90-cent risk, and then you cut it and you could flip calls. Okay, very simple, very straightforward there. And we look back at the previous day action since we had so much volatility. I'm not going to map out the high. The high yesterday was $142. The odds of the contracts going there is about maybe 1%. The market would have to fall like 150, 200 points for that to happen. I don't even think the contracts can get to that price, honestly. So what we did is we went on a 5 minute here. And we zoomed in and we observed, okay, here was the previous day low. As you could see, this was the previous day low where a lot of buying came in. We had sort of the pre-market pivot. We had some ranges here, pre-market high, pre-market low. We had a little pivot point here, pre-market pivot, where it kind of ran all the way up from 9 to 25 and then got crushed back down. So we marked this point here. We marked the high of the day as well. So this is all visual cues. This is so that we can have a nice representation color-wise, and it's very easy to see on the chart. So we know high of day, low of day, or also pre-market low. This is where buyers are continuing to step in and trying to push the price up. Now, until that breaks, we could say confidently that this is a strong buying demand area. This is where you'd want to take risk to. Okay, so let's just make this green here so we could say, taking risk to this level. Now, if we break this low, I don't really see any support here. So this is make or break for the puts. $9 is support. Nowhere near that was it trading yesterday. The low of day yesterday was $40. So this is it. Either the bears are going to step in and defend this level here, or it's just going to get crushed and the market's going to be one-way action up today. So now I'm getting a bunch of alerts. If the price moves higher, I'm getting alerted. If the contract chart breaks out above resistance, I'm getting an alert, which we just saw here. Okay, so now the calls are breaking out, the puts are breaking down. This is perfect. This is exactly what we wanted. Now we're seeing that perfect representation. Just be mindful, right? This is the high of the first 5 minute open. So we want to make sure that we can blast through here. I'm going to set a few more alerts just above, very small alerts above, just so we can make sure that we're continuing that uptrend, that we didn't just get a retest and then fade off that level. Sort of a head fake to the upside. That's very possible as well. So we're going to have a couple more alerts to the upside set just to make sure that we're confirming that breakout, that it's not just a head fake. All right, so I want to give you guys an update now a few hours later on SPX. We had a really nice breakout, so I want to pull up the 6580 calls. As you could see, technically nearly to perfection here. We come right back to the pre-market low, which was $9.30. This wick was $9.30 to the penny, touches the exact pre-market low, retesting that liquidity as we showed you. And again, double bottom bounce, goes all the way back up, runs into a wall here at the high of day, sort of consolidates, has one little head fake to the downside, goes right back up to the pre-market high, consolidates there for about 20 minutes, breaks out, and is now pretty much flat right at that pre-market high. So it's using these levels as a magnet. It's really incredible how well it works. The 6580s never broke support, never broke that pre-market low. Really, really strong action overall. As you could see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times testing this. If you were biased on the call side here as a bull today and you took low to the bottom or this pre-market low, you would have done absolutely fantastic. These calls are up tremendous here, about 168%. And once we got that break above the previous day high, it was a straight shot up about 10 points, almost 65% on the options, which was fantastic. Now that we're consolidating and trading above this pre-market high, I would say it could definitely open up the door to really explode if we get on the north side of $30. These could definitely see 35, 40, maybe even 50 if the market squeezes up another 20, 30 points today. But everything is moving in slow motion. Really, really nice action overall. And if we go back to the puts here, I believe they were 65.50 puts. These got absolutely obliterated. And as I told you guys, once it breaks this support, there is no other level there. This was the low of the entire chart. This was the major support. If we broke that, there was nothing else that was going to hold it. That's why we took a 90-cent hypothetical cut or a 10% risk and then flip calls. That's exactly what I told you at the beginning of the day. And look at what happened. Straight action action down. No support, nothing there holding it from $9 just fell all the way down to 135. These are completely cooked. They're not coming back. And again, that is how you trade like a professional, going on the underlying option contract chart. You don't focus on the index or the stock, focus on the actual contract that you want to trade. If it's the 65.80 calls or the 65.50 puts, you had a very nice risk to reward. You bought at an incredible entry, and you should be up tremendous today if you followed along. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, please smash that like button, consider reposting. And also, if you want to join our private Discord where we trade these names every single day, you could head to our website, avidcapital.co/Discord. Again, avidcapital.co/Discord. You could sign up. We'd love to have you as a member. All different levels of experience, all different walks of life in our group, from intermediate to advanced traders. We are helping them achieve their goals in 2026, get back on track, and take their portfolio to where they want to be. Besides that, have a fantastic day. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.